Hey, what's up? It's me, StrangeLoop here, and today in this video I'm going to talk about how to adapt to change. So, here we go, and let's get right to the first point is to take things slow. So, what do I mean by that? Well, here's an insight. When you go too fast, you most likely will make a mistake. What do I mean by that? Well, in my life, as I noticed, is when I rush things, when I want to make things happen, and like suddenly, with no plan or any other thought in mind, I just want it to happen right here and right now. Most most of the time, it doesn't happen, and most of the time, it just fails. It doesn't happen because it doesn't happen because I took things too fast and I didn't take it slow, right? So it goes to many things. Like if you go to a new workplace, right, you need to adapt to it, and when you go too fast and you try to adapt too fast, well, of course, just take things slow and don't rush things. Take your own time to adapt and to learn everything you need to in that workplace. That's from my experience. So the next point, the next point number two, is to do not expect quick results. So quick results, we all want them, right? We all want everything to happen that we want like this, but it doesn't happen in life. Certainly, we wish it would happen, but it doesn't. That's the truth. And what can we do about it? Well, we have to accept it and just embrace taking it slow. It's kind of an extension of an idea of taking it slow. So don't expect quick results. And here's why. Here's a story of me changing jobs. So I once got a job and I worked there for quite a while. Well, not quite a while, like 3 months, right? I worked there for 3 months and I was so eager to get a raise to earn more money in that job. So, because I was seeing other people getting raises, so I wanted to get that raise myself. And I didn't realize that those other people were working way more time than I was. So I wanted a quick raise just after 3 months, and I didn't get it. Of course, it's obvious for some of you. For me, it wasn't obvious, but I was so eager, so impatient that I wanted quick results just like that, and I didn't get the raise. So I ended up going to a different job. I I quit that job that I had that didn't give me a raise, and I went for a higher paying job that I found, slightly bigger. But when I got to the job, uh, some things happened, and the salary actually went down because I couldn't, because the workplace that I worked at couldn't give me the money that I I got at first, so I needed to get a less paying job. So I ended up getting less money than at the first job that that I worked at for 3 months. So yes, don't expect quick results. Speaking from experience, just take things slow. And the third point is to appreciate the little wins. So the little wins, what are they? You can see them every day in your life. we don't tend to notice them as much for ourselves or in other people. We tend to just like brush it off, you know, we just like, oh, it's not significant, so it's not technically a win. But in reality, it is a win, and we can appreciate those to make ourselves feel better and bring our self-esteem a bit higher, so we know that, you know, we are doing a good job, and we are doing a uh, a good job, you know, just like at life. So yeah, so little wins pile up into expertise over time, especially when you are learning something. So what do I mean by this? In beatbox, little wins like doing a proper kick, not a sloppy one. For example, you know, this is a sloppy kick, and a proper kick, sharp, strong, and powerful. You know, once you start with a small win, with actually trying to do the sloppy one, you know, it's still a win, because then from that small win you can go to a bigger win, and from that bigger win you can go even bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, it's just like how progress works. So you just like do the little win, you make little wins, and those little wins just pile up into knowledge, and that knowledge of what works will bring you more expertise in what you do and what you learn. So it's pretty good to appreciate the wins while you're learning. So yeah, that's the third point. Let's get to the fourth point. And the fourth point is to have courage to keep yourself going. So let's take as an example, right? So you're eating your food, and suddenly your hand malfunctions, and suddenly you lose the grip of your fork or spoon, and it drops on the floor. So what do? Of course you may uh, explode in emotion and say, ah, what the hell, I dropped my fork, I dropped my spoon, now it's the end of the world, so I'm just going to go and not eat my food now. No, you don't do that, right? What you do is you pick up the fork, clean it up, and you continue eating, right? So just like, so this is an analogy of little things, right? This is a little thing. You don't think much of just picking up the fork, cleaning it up, and continuing eating, right? But when you drop something big, right? I'm using this as a metaphor, like when you fail in a bigger way, bigger way, you tend to give up and don't continue. You tend to give up, and you don't want to keep going. You just want to give up and get away and just escape from the situation and from the problem, right? But what I'm suggesting is to actually pick up that fork, clean it up, and continue working, eating, you know, just like just making, like motivating yourself, like making sure that you keep going in your job, in your what you need to do, in what change you are currently experiencing. Just keep going and just adapt to the situation without much thought, ideally, you know. But if you need some thinking to do, just rethink it, and keep going. So that's the fourth point. Let's go to the fifth and final point, and that is create a routine and adjust it when needed. So a routine can be anything really. A routine is something you do over and over and over again. So just making your bed is a routine. So many times in my life, even now, sometimes I do not make my bed because I feel tired or I'm just too lazy to make my bed. So, and not making my bed, it is still a routine. So if I want to change a routine to making the bed rather than not making the bed, so what I need to do is to continue making the bed. You know, it sounds simple, but what can you do, right? So let me give you an example of another routine, reading, right? So reading for me is how I didn't read much in school, but now I'm really interested in reading books because it gives me knowledge I didn't realize before in school, but now I'm reading books from not school books. Well, it's still learning books, you know, it's something that helps me and I'm actually getting knowledge out of it, so it's a win-win, and it's a routine, right? So to do it as a routine, I usually read before bed, and when I read is I pick up my book, you know, I read, and to adjust it, right? You don't actually need to adjust the habit of whatever you're doing, right? In a sense, if it works, you can keep it as it is. But if something changes, right? So here's a simplest example. I'm reading one book, right? So this one book, doesn't matter how I call it, one book, I read it, and it's the current routine, but the next routine would be reading another book. So the change there is from another book to another book, right? So instead of picking the usual book that I'm reading, I'm picking another book to read. So the routine is still there. I'm still reading, but I'm reading a different book, and the different book, you know, it's something different. You know, let me give you another example. So we have food, right? Food. You eat breakfast, and what do you eat? What do you eat for breakfast? So if you eat cereal for breakfast every morning, you eat that, right? But you slightly, like, you suddenly noticed that your cereal doesn't bring you enough nutrition in your body, so you want to change that. So you want to adjust it. Well, adjust it, right? So to adjust it, you make something else for food. It's still the breakfast, the routine is still there, but the whole food has changed from cereal to maybe eggs and bacon, right? So, and that's basically it. That's just how you create a routine and how you adjust it. Simple. The simplest way I could have explained it. So I know you get it. I think you understand what I'm saying here. And yeah, so this is 5 points on how to adjust to change. Change in general, in life, anywhere that you go. Of course, my life is more complex than just these simple examples, but I'm giving you the basics of what can you do, right? So some things require more complex uh, behavior changes, or more complex thinking, or more complex actions that you can do to change, to adapt to the situation. But I'm telling you, just do the best that you can, and just take these 5 points and use them or don't use them. I suggest you using them, of course. So yeah, that's it for me today. Thank you for watching. This was StrangeLoop. Drop a like on this video and subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Bye bye.